And all right, we're live there. I got that going. And let me go ahead and get the this potted up, that potted up. Check 1, 2, 3. Check, checking levels. Hope everyone's having a good Wednesday today. Let me get the phone. Let me get the phone on Do Not Disturb. Turn the ringer off so that doesn't mess up. All right, we're good there. And I think we're good. All right, y'all ready to start the show? I'm ready. All right, let's. Why don't we just go ahead and start the show? I'm gonna light it up. Hang on.
Calling all stations. Clear the air lanes. Clear all air lanes for the big broadcast.
All right, welcome to this week's edition of the Wednesday Drive, brought to you in part by our good friends out at Rupert's Roost and Peace Turkey Calls out there in Pennsylvania. Hope everyone's having a good Wednesday, and thank you for joining on the show today on the Outdoor Call Radio app, or if you're watching us on the Outdoor Call Radio app page on Facebook. So there you go. We got a fun show to tell you about today. We're going to have Jason Mitchell, Walleye Pro, on. We're going to talk a little hunting and fishing and have some fun. So let me go ahead and give Jason a call right now, and we'll get him on the show. And
Hello?
Jason, it's Outdoors Dan. You're live on the
Yes.
live on the Wednesday Drive, sir. How you doing?
All right. Well, thanks for having me on.
No, thank you, buddy. What are you doing? You fishing?
No, I'm actually driving back from fishing.
Where's you fishing at?
I was up in Canada.
Hey, good for you, huh? Let me guess. Walleyes.
Actually, no. We went on a we went lake. We were after lake trout, big lake trout. We were up in Tasman Lake, Saskatchewan, and it was incredible. I caught one that was 43 inches. There was a guy in camp that caught one that was 46 inches, but just some giant lake trout up there. You know, you have a chance of catching fish well over 30 pounds, so it's a pretty cool trip.
You know, in my 59 years on this earth, Jace, I've never caught a lake trout.
Oh, you got to do it. They fight so hard. They are fun.
Yeah, I'll have to put that on my bucket list, man. I tell you, I just, you know how I grew up in St. Louis, around St. Louis, Missouri. So I grew up fishing for bass and catfish and crappie. And,
yeah, that's a long ways from lake trout.
yeah, and I didn't get the walleye bug until I moved up to Iowa back in 2001. So when I moved up here, we moved up in November. Hey Tony, good to see you. Hi Fishing Dave, good to see you. Thank you for watching on Facebook Live. I didn't start. I think I caught a couple walleye in the Merrimack River out of St. Louis a couple times, but it was by accident. But I got up here and then the first thing I asked everybody, what's all these little things on the ice out there? What are people doing? And these little tents and stuff, and everybody started laughing at me. He said, "Have you ever ice fished before?" I said, "No, I'm from Missouri. We don't get it. Ain't that cold to get ice fishing down in Table Rock and Lake of the Ozarks and stuff." And then I got taken out ice fishing, and I hooked a couple cold water walleyes, and it started a sickness in me, Jason.
Yeah, they're a little bit better to eat than those bass in the warm water.
Yeah, I haven't ate a bass, and gosh, I bet you it's been over 25 years since I had a bass. So I had a friend of mine had a little lake that was full of them, and they were stunted, and he wanted them out. Hey Hank, good to see you down at Revelton. Thank you for watching. And he wanted some taken out, and we filleted them out and had a fish fry. But that's probably, I think, the last time I've actually done it. I always put them back if I catch one.
You know, I remember one time we caught a few of them ice fishing, and something happened where they didn't swim down the hole, and they're bleeding, and we ate a couple of them. You know, they were small, like 14-inch, 13-inch bass.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
They were terrible. I mean, they were similar to a crappie.
Oh, they're good eating fish. I mean, it just I'd rather
cold water goes through the ice.
Yeah, yeah. I'd rather put them back and let somebody else have the fun of catching them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
That's why when I was up on Winnie, I don't know if I've talked to you since I went up to Minnesota. I caught a 23 and a 26 inch walleye when I was up there, And
Oh, good for you. That's a beautiful fish.
I put them both back. Aren't you proud of me?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I got plenty of pictures. I told my wife, I said, one of these days I'm going to get a replica made because I don't want to take those brood fish and take them out. I'd rather put them back. But if I catch a big muskie, I'll probably get a replica of that made. I haven't caught a muskie yet either, Jason.
Well, you know what? If you keep, like if you fish like Leech Lake and Cass Lake, Bemidji, even if you're just walleye fishing, sooner or later you're going to run into them.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to. I've caught a ton of northerns, but no muskies yet. So, hey, Richard, good to see you, buddy. So, what's going on with Jason Mitchell Television? What you've been lake trout fishing? What else you been up to on the shows?
Yeah, we've been lake trout fishing. We did a fly-in into northern Manitoba earlier this summer. We were up last Mountain. Let's see, where else have we filmed? Uh, Lake Sakakawea, we did some stuff on. We did some stuff in, we did some bass stuff over in Minnesota. That was tremendous. I mean, there's some unbelievable bass fish. I mean, you spend a lot of time in Minnesota, northern Minnesota especially, you might become a bass fisherman again, man.
No. Oh, I tell you, the smallies up there are really good. I don't know if you've ever fished Turtle Lake up in Minnesota.
I've heard of it, but I haven't fished it.
Man, that's a great walleye or a smallie fishery, and Mille Lacs is a good smallmouth fishery too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Rick Seeker, good to see you. Yeah, I've got into some smallies and stuff, but I haven't caught my fill of walleye yet. As long as God lets me get on here, I'm just going to try and get those wallies going. So, hey,
so many fish in so little time.
I still like crappie. I still like catching those big black crappie slabbers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are good. So let me ask you some questions. I mean, it's been so brutally hot here in the Midwest. It's actually been tolerable the last about a week and a half, 2 weeks. We've gotten some really good moisture, and the temps have been down in the upper 70s, low 80s, and stuff. So it's been pretty nice. But what do you do as far as fishing when it gets this hot for if you're trying to pattern walleyes or crappie or something like that?
Well, it can really vary. I mean, we've had weird weather too, where, for example, we had the warmest June and the warmest May that I can remember with the latest ice outs. We had one of the latest ice outs ever, and then we went to the quickest I've ever seen the water temperature hit 70 degrees, and the quickest I've ever seen it hit 80 degrees. And so we've had really warm water temps for a long time. And, when the water gets warm, it can vary. I mean, sometimes the fishing can be really good when it's hot. I mean, it can be really good. The fish, they still have high metabolism. They're eating all the time. But on some lakes, it can be really important to fish after dark or get up early in the morning or fish late in the day. But a lot of times early in the morning can be where it's at, where I'm talking, get up at 4 in the morning and fish till 8 when it gets really hot.
Yeah, do you change setups at all? I mean, do you go from a jig and a minnow? I mean, do you go in crawler harnesses, bottom bouncers? What are you doing? You're doing different fishing, so.
Yeah, I mean, it varies. I wouldn't say there's an easy answer to that. I mean, a jig and a minnow will catch fish all year.
Yeah.
Especially if you get situations where the fish are shallow, and if for whatever reason we've seen a lot of shallow patterns this summer or shallower stuff, stuff less than 15 feet of water,
right.
Even a lot of stuff less than 10 feet of water, especially if you have wind. And what's really made this July interesting is we had such a warm May, a warm June. We've had hot days in July, but we've had some pretty severe cold fronts where just 3 or 4 days of cold weather, without any precipitation. And that's almost kind of evened out our water temperatures a little bit, and I don't know if it's warm water and especially there's an algae bloom. I love pulling bottom balsers and spinners and covering water. It just depends what the fish are doing. If they're off of transitions, I like to cover water. I might troll lead core and crankbaits. Some lakes I might troll long line crankbaits or run snap weights, or I might be running bottom balsers and spinners. Smaller spots, I have a tendency to run bottom balsers and spinners more so on these deeper transitions.
Yeah.
If they're bigger spots, I'll troll more, and then. Obviously, in the states where you can use more than one line, I'll have a tendency to troll more too, But on the flip side, especially like with forward-facing sonar, another deadly thing to do is to sharpshoot fish with either a jig and a minnow or a jig and plastic or a slip bobber and a leech. And so that slip bobber and leech sharpshooting has been producing a lot of fish in northern Minnesota, especially. And especially when the water really clears up. When you can see down 10 feet, sometimes these fish are still in 12, 13, 9 feet of water, even in that clear water, but they won't let you get anywhere near them with a boat.
Yeah.
So you'll never see them on 2D sonar. You might catch them on side imaging, but you can find them with forward-facing sonar and hunt them down that way, and then they just make long casts at those fish.
I got you.
And so that's another presentation, and a lot of times we'll find fish in shallow weeds where that might be a soft plastic paddle tail or a swim bait, and so it varies. I mean, I would say if anything, as you get in the middle of summer, it really becomes important to be really versatile.
Yeah.
Where be willing to do a lot of different things until you figure out what the fish want.
Yeah, Dennis says they've had a lot of algae when it's been hot around where he's at.
Yeah, so like we've had some algae blooms too, where it almost gets to be like paint. It's just you can smell it, and I really like to run bottom balsers and spinner harnesses. And some of it is that you can cover water and use speed to trigger fish, but also that slime will slide down your line and ruin a lot of presentations. Where with a bottom bouncer and a spinner, that slime will collect on the bottom bouncer, and your spinner will a lot of times be running free or running clean. And so that's typically what I do in a really bad algae blooms. I run bottom bounces quite a bit.
Yeah, we were actually drifting in. We were in 12 feet of water in the weeds, and I was using a 1/4 ounce jig with a spotted minnow, and
Yep.
yeah, and I mean, we just got lucky and drifted over them, and we went back and I picked up another one, so we got into a school of big ones, but. Yeah, it was. I definitely see them on the fish finders and stuff. But boy, when they were locked up jaw wise, it's kind of frustrating, huh?
Oh yeah. But like Winnebagosh is a perfect place too to use side imaging. On a lot of that rolling sand weed type structure. You can hunt them down with side imaging, and then either if it's windy enough, you can drift through them in long line of jig or cast jigs. But Winnie's been fishing really well. I mean, Winnie's been one of the better lakes in northern Minnesota.
Yeah, they've been.
Summer.
Yeah,
a nice fish.
3 years in a row. I mean, I caught a bunch of 12, 14-inch wallies. So I mean, the fishery's doing really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of my favorite places to go. Tell everybody where you mostly are. Where do you hang your hat, or tell them where you hang your hat and go fishing a lot?
Well, I live in Devil's Lake, and so I guided on Devil's Lake for many years and spend a lot of time on that fishery. But with the television stuff, we travel all over the Midwest.
Yeah.
So try to film different shows in different states on different fisheries. So we get around.
Yeah, and Devil's Lake, man, that's like a go-to or bucket list for a lot of anglers. I've heard so many things about Devil's Lakes over the years.
Yeah, it really is a premier destination fishing. I mean, the walleye numbers are unbelievable right now. I keep saying, golly, it can't get any better because we've had a lot of good years, and it just keeps chugging along. It's unbelievable how many fish are in that lake.
Yeah, and that's not a real deep lake either, is it?
No, it's predominantly shallow. I mean, I think the deepest area in the whole lake is maybe 60 feet.
Yeah.
57, and it's just predominantly a shallow lake. No thermocline in the lake. There's a lot of shallow fishing. I would say we're starting to catch a lot of fish in that 24 to 16 foot range in a lot of places on the lake. But for big chunks of the summer, we're catching a lot of fish no deeper than 10 feet. And so throughout the year, we catch a lot of shallow fish on Devil's Lake. Fine fish shallow.
Yeah, Jason Dennis wants to know: is there anything happen? I hope I'm saying this right. Wausa, South Dakota.
Waubee.
Wausau.
Well, there's Waubee Lake.
No,
Wausau, Wisconsin. I don't know.
It says Wausausd. So, yes, I think he's saying South Dakota. Dennis, are you sure it's Wausa? Wausawa?
Yeah,
I have a hard.
Waubee.
Oh wait, he says Waubee. He said Waubee. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, Waubee. Yeah, no, that's been fishing really good. I was down there and filmed on Bitter Lake, which is right next to it. Earlier in the year, we caught some really big fish, and like 9-10 pound stuff.
Wow.
And that was full spawn right after ice out. But I just had some friends that were down there, and they caught a lot of fish. And they caught most of their fish on Wabe, and they were pulling bottom balls for some spinners or just a bullet weight and then a short snell and a spinner and half a crawler, basically just running along the weed lines. And so that's kind of classic fishing down in that part of the world this time of year is you run the outside edge of the weed line with the spinner and typically catch a lot of fish.
Hey, moving forward and now we're into August and stuff. What's your approach for August and going up into September and October when they start those feeding frenzies?
Oh, it varies. I mean, if the weeds stay green, we'll find fish relating to the weeds. And sometimes I catch a lot of fish in the weeds in the fall. It's almost like I feel like sometimes if you get a lot of timber or weeds, it almost seems like it retains the heat, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Where it almost feels like the fish will kind of concentrate around cover when the nights get cold. Other patterns, other lakes, you'll see fish go deep where they'll be on deep rocks and say 30 to 40 feet. So it varies. I mean, we'll find fish. It's kind of a process of elimination. In every lake you go, you could go to a lake 5 miles down the road and it'll be fishing differently, or there'll be different patterns happening on the same lake at the same time, and so, a lot of times fishing is kind of the process of elimination where in the fall, if you could find any current in the fall, that could be dynamite. So sometimes that you get like a wet fall where you get some rain and there's water moving through a culvert back and forth between two lakes, or maybe you have 4 or 5 days in a row of a west wind that's say 20 to 35 miles an hour, and it pushes water through that narrow area or causeway, and then the water comes back once the wind quits, and so you'll get some current that's wind driven. But current can be big in the fall. I mean, always you have to be kind of an opportunist sometimes. It doesn't happen every day, every fall. But if you get current in the fall, that'll attract fish so quickly. And that's something to look for in the fall. And then sometimes they'll be on deep rocks. It might be, say, jigging rafts or running creek chubs off big prominent points that come out into basins that are deep. And then maybe there's some deep rocks or some deep transitions that you're focusing on. If you can find green weeds, especially cabbage that's still pretty bright green, that'll hold fish in the fall. There's a lot of different things that can happen in the fall, and sometimes as you get later in the fall, sometimes you see these fish move up shallow again. On some lakes, for example, there's ciscos or tulipies that are spawning on rock in the fall,
Yeah.
and that'll pull big fish up. Especially if there's wind hitting it. And so. There's no silver bullet where this is going to happen in the fall because it varies. But what does happen in the fall is that across the board, there's a lot fewer people fishing, and the spots aren't getting hit very hard. You can go out there and you're pretty much all by yourself, and for the most part, the fish start feeding pretty aggressively.
Yeah.
And one thing I've often said and I've often told people is in the fall, don't overthink things in the sense that other times of the year there gets to be so many boats and so many people fishing that you have to, you realize, where those 30 boats are, that was a good spot. That can be a good spot. But after 30 boats have been sitting on it for 5 days in a row, it is no longer a good spot. No spot's that good, right?
Right.
And you go in that mix of boats and you realize that, I should have been here yesterday. And in the fall, you don't have that as much, and so a lot of times some of your best spots are what you'd call community spots, where they're big, prominent pieces of structure, very obvious spots that everybody knows. And when those spots have fish on them and nobody's out there fishing anymore, they can be really, really, really good. And so in the fall, don't overthink things. A lot of times your community spots can be some of your best spots, your best bites, because one thing that also happens in the fall there's a lot of movement and a lot of transitioning where fish are moving from point A to point B. The environment's changing. The water temperatures are changing. Fish are moving. And big spots seem to attract more fish when they're on the move. If that makes any sense.
No, I get it. I agree with you 100%.
A lot of times we're looking for small spots to get away from boats.
Oh, I hear you.
If we could, we'd fish big spots because big spots are big enough to hold more fish.
Yeah, you should have seen. You should have seen how quickly the boats came around after I pulled that second big walleye in.
Oh yeah, I've been up there. I know.
It's like howdy.
You learn to reel in fish sitting down without a net.
Yeah, well, I was fishing. Yeah, I had my bear guide with me, and we were having some fun. Hey, let me ask you a question. This is just for me more than anything. What about jig colors? I was doing really good with pinks and oranges, and Gary, my buddy, he was laughing at me. He goes, "Don't use that orange," and that's what I ended up catching both those big ones on. Now it was probably a 99.9% luck. But I mean, what about jig colors as far as variances? What do you like?
That's the last thing I worry about.
Okay.
I like say for example you're drifting and you're in the wind and
Yep.
you're going across a 9 foot, 7 foot flat and there's a little bit of cara and some weed growth coming up off the bottom and I'm just trying to tickle on the bottom. My number one thing is jig weight. Okay.
Yep.
Do I got to go lighter? Do I have to go heavier? If I keep trying to go too light, then I'm not anywhere near where I need to be. And so there's kind of a compromise, a happy medium where you got to get the jig down to where the fish are, but at the same time, if you get it down too much, you're bogging down in weeds,
Yep.
maybe making such heavy bottom contact that you can't fish it away from the boat, or you're hitting bottom so hard that it's hard to distinguish some bites, especially if you're in rock. And so you have to go light enough to, especially when the fish are shallow and they're spooking from the boat, you got to get away from the boat. You got to go with a light enough jig where it just kind of coasts along the bottom, but doesn't get hung up in the bottom. And so jig weight is the number one thing. I want to jig with a sharp hook. I feel it's ridiculous when people worry about jig color, but they don't even have a hook. They don't have a hook file in the boat, and they're rolling through rocks. And what difference does it matter what color the jig is? I just want the sharpest hook I can, and so I'm running a file. And if a hook gets bent over, if I can't touch it up with a file, I'm retying, and I'd rather retie on the wrong color with the right hook.
Sure.
And so I always feel like if I'm in the right place at the right time, I'll catch fish on the wrong color. But if I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time, I won't catch anything on the right color. And so there's big things to worry about. But then finally, color does make a difference sometimes. But it's the last thing that I worry about because I can catch fish by accident if I do all these other things right.
Well, that's usually what I do, Jace. I catch them by accident.
Well, we all do, right? We need that fish. We need that break. We need that bite, that some type of indication to slow us down so we can put our heads down and try different things.
Yeah.
But in like northern Minnesota, I mean, I love that parrot color. Like in the Northland, the stand-up fireball parrot is a killer jig on Leech Lake, on Winnie, on Bemidji, Cass, like all that water up there. It's kind of a three-tone jig. It's got some kind of some aqua green. It's got some chartreuse. It's got some orange on it, and sometimes gold can be really good, especially in stained water, tannic water, brown water. Gold can be good. Chartreuse, bright colors can be good in wind and stained water.
Mm-hmm.
But unpainted jigs catch fish too, and so.
Okay. No, I'm glad you said that because that'll save me about $15-20 every time I go to the bait store. So
well, here's what I'll tell you. I was a guide for many years, and where I was like on the water 100 days in a row at times before I took a day off, and running 1 to 2 groups a day. So lots and lots of time on the water, guiding a lot of different people. And my worst fear is one person catching all the fish. I want everybody to catch fish in the boat. And so if one person is firing and the other people aren't, I got to fix that. I got to fix it as soon as possible before the day gets away from me. Okay. Yeah. So invariably, one person's catching fish, right? That happens in a boat all the time. More often than not, one person starts catching them, and everybody's looking at them like, "What are you doing?" And the number one thing to look at, the number one thing to do or to adapt or adjust is look at the angle of the line from the rod tip to the water. Okay, assuming that you're using all the same jig weight.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe one person's letting out way more line than everybody else, and the fish are bumping off of the boat, and they're just long lining it behind the boat, just dragging it. Match up. Okay. If a person's fishing right below the boat, they're probably going over the fish first. Okay. Well, then match up. Okay. But match the rod, from the rod tip to the water of the line, because that kind of indicates how much line you're let out. That's the number one thing to fix or to change or to adapt. And usually that'll fix a lot of your problems. Okay.
Okay.
There's times where, it came down to everybody had to have an orange jig or a chartreuse jig. We've seen that. We've done that. Okay. But more often than not, it's those other things that are more important most days.
All right. No, that's good because I wanted to ask you that. All right. Hang on, Jace. I got to take a real quick break. I'll be right back. It's the Wednesday Drive on the Outdoor Call Radio Network. You're heading out on your morning hunt well before sunrise, so you can stay undetected from that giant you've been chasing all season. Wouldn't it be nice to know exactly where your stand or blind location is without letting anyone know where you're at walking in? Have you ever heard of Onyx? Onyx is one of the most important pieces of hunting gear that you can use and always have with you. The Onyx Hunt app allows you not only to get from your truck to your hunting spots, it also allows you to mark and save your parking spots, scrapes, food plots, rub lines, or some possible next stand locations. The Onyx Hunt app is also a great way to see your property and know where you stand. Onyx is a mobile app that you can take anywhere. It's recognized by game wardens all around the country as a valuable hunting tool. So, if you want to always know where you are and have the ability to save information that will help you be a better hunter, go download the Onyx Hunt app at your app store today. Heading on your next adventure and looking for some snacks to take? Why not pack a snack that tastes great, gives you protein, and is easy to pack? Have you heard of Soldier Boy beef jerky? Soldier Boy jerky is slow smoked in small batches to ensure generous, tender morsels that taste outstanding. Soldier Boy beef jerky offers the following flavors: sweet heat, original, maple, or peppered flavors that will satisfy you all day in the field. Soldier Boy Beef Jerky is veteran-owned and proud supporters of the Canines for Warrior Foundation. They also donate to troops that are deployed serving our country. So next time you're looking for snacks from home or on your next outdoor adventure, please remember to reach for some Soldier Boy Beef Jerky, available at Sportsman's Warehouse. Soldier Boy Beef Jerky, outstanding taste that keeps you satisfied in the field. For more information, please check us out online at www.sbjerky.com.
In these times when a lot of us are working from home, it's even more important to make sure your home is the right temperature and comfortable. Now is a great time to call the experts at Wyckoff Heating and Cooling at 287-6000 to schedule a check on your current heating and cooling systems. Is your house too dry and giving your family issues? A Honeywell dehumidifier system installed with your AC heating system can solve that issue right away. Wyckoff Heating and Cooling is a family-owned and operated business that has been serving Iowa residents and businesses for over 70 years. They offer 24-hour service and programs like the Peace of Mind Plan for less than $15 a month. So if you want more time on the water or in the woods this year, please call the folks at Wyckoff Heating and Cooling for any of your home or business heating and cooling needs. One call to Wyckoff Heating and Cooling will bring you peace of mind under your roof every day.
Hey students, are you into shooting sports? Well, if you are, have you ever thought about using your passion to help you through college? Grandview University is a small private college that is looking for students that have a passion for the shooting sports and learning. Grandview University has a shooting sports program that if you qualify will give you a guaranteed rate for your whole education while on the shooting team. That means your cost won't go up, you will get to experience a new level of competition and learn in a small class size with the feel of a larger campus with a ton of opportunities. So if you're looking to advance your education and love to shoot, why not shoot for a college program that has produced countless All-Americans and has a winning record of 4 times national champion? Grandview Shooting Sports athletes will have your ammo, uniforms, travel, and education covered in your scholarship. If you like to shoot for the stars and push yourself, Grandview University wants to talk with you. For more information, check them out at gvvikings.com.
All right, welcome back to the Wednesday Drive. My guest is Mr. Jason Mitchell from Jason Mitchell Outdoors Television. We're talking a little fishing. Hey, before we let you go here, are you getting all your hunting stuff ready to go?
Yes, I have been. I've got trail cameras out, and I've been planting trees, and I've been getting ready.
Yeah.
Glassing some evenings when I can, and our deer numbers are way down up here.
Oh, man, I tell you what, you put in for Iowa, and I'll let you come and hunt with me sometime.
Oh, I'd love that. I would absolutely love that. But yeah, our deer, we had a tough winter last year, and our deer numbers were down last year. And yeah, I mean, there's still deer around, and all it takes is one. But boy, I'm not seeing near the number of deer that I normally see. So it's been kind of disappointing.
Well, put in for a bow tag. It's going to take you a couple years to draw, but I'll trade you. a South Dakota walleye trip for a couple days for a deer hunt.
That sounds like a great deal.
Yeah, it does to me. I'm gonna eat good. You might not see anything because you don't know where I'm going to. I'm just kidding, Jason. I wouldn't do that to you.
Well, you might not catch anything.
Yeah, but I'll be able to get up there and see what you're doing to me first. See, I see how it works.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey.
You know, the trading trips is great, but everybody has to put in the same amount of effort. Otherwise, it's a disaster.
Oh, I totally.
You have too.
I trust me. I get it, man. I get it. Well, listen, I want to thank you for coming on, and thanks for being part of the Outdoor Call Radio Network. Everybody loves chiming in and hearing you guys on Tuesdays on fishing days, and thank you so much for helping us get the word out in the outdoor community.
You bet. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure, buddy. If someone wants to find out what you're up to or more about what you guys do, what's the best way for them to do that, Jason?
Probably just find us on Facebook or Instagram. Just search Jason Mitchell Outdoors. We pop up, or on our YouTube channel, Jason Mitchell Outdoors. So that'd probably be the easiest way, is just right on your phone.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon, and if I don't talk to you before, good luck this season, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jace. Tell everybody hi for me, please.
I will.
Thanks, pal. There he goes, Jason Mitchell. What a fine feller right there. Just a super, super nice guy. Hey, real quickly, hey, Dennis, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I was at GLM Shooter Supply today, and I picked up I finally got a 44 mag, man. Dave and Russell and Dallas took good care of me. So I've been looking for that gun for a while. So finally got there. They have got a whole bunch of shotguns in stock and shotgun shells. Dove season, and that's going to come up here September 1st. So it's not that far away. So if you like to go out and do a little dove hunting or take advantage of that first teal season, head over to JLM Shooter Supply and let them outfit you up, and they'll take real good care of you. I promise. All right, let's see. Do I have any? Got some announcements. August 19th, next Saturday, we're going to be down at the Iowa Cubs game. It's the big outdoor day at the park. Gates open up at 5:08 p.m. Game starts at 6. Andrew and I will be in the front there. Come on by, and we'll let you show us that you got the app. If you got the app, we're going to let you punt in for a $500 outdoor stand prize pack. Everybody else can put in for a Grizzly cooler. We got a 75-quart Grizzly cooler, thanks to Grizzly, and a $300 gift card to Sportsman's Warehouse. That'll be given out at the game in the 7th inning. We'll draw the winners, and we'll do that on top of the dugout there. So that's going to be fun. And then September 16th and 17th, it's the Iowa All-Bridge Jeep Show in Cambridge, Iowa. Camping is available. They're going to have a whole bunch of different vendors. There's obstacle courses, teeter-totters that you can drive your 4x4 truck, Jeep, whatever. If you like to go four-wheeling Jeep events, that event is something that you want to check out, the Iowa All-Breeds Jeep Show. If you want more information, go check them out at iowajeepclub.com, and you can do that. All right, I'm going to say goodbye to my Facebook friends. I will see you later. Thank you so much for tuning in, because I've got some business to do with everybody listening on the app. I will see you Saturday. If you need anything, let me know. Otherwise, have a good night on Facebook, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.